All right, YouTube, this Detroit's HPTV back at you with another video. We got to talk about these politics that's taking another turn on the left. Now, who'd ever thought that the Democratic Party and the leftists would turn on Barack Obama? But they have a real problem with Obama because Obama said the quiet part out loud. Obama is telling the Democrats that basically you're using the same tactics that you did in the election cycle. Trump is bad, so vote for us. And masculinity is toxic and transgendering of children, and it's not working. How can you keep using the same talking points and the same agenda that you lost with? And they in the uproar because they didn't want to hear that from Obama. They wanted Obama to keep virtue signaling to the masses of black people that like Obama and thought Obama was the second coming. But now it seems that they no longer want to listen to Barack Obama. Barack Obama is losing his appeal to the left because he's not as far left as they are. So I'm going to show you some clips, and then we're going to talk about these two clips. And you're going to see that the Democratic Party is in free fall. They have an internal civil wars being taken over by socialists, and their same mantra is Trump bad, vote for us. But with no policies, the only persons that they are actually advocating for is immigrants. And now they're so tone deaf that Obama himself can't even reach them. So without further ado, let's watch these clips. The first one is from Australia. And then I'm going to show you this brother, how he breaks it down. So this is for fair use under the 1976 Copyright Act for education and commentary. Let's look at this.
It's time for Media Meltdowns, and this time it's former President Barack Obama leaving leftist media hosts in a spin. Barack Obama delivered a blunt message to Democrats last week, telling them to toughen up.
He told donors this over the weekend, quote, "I think it's going to require a little bit less navel-gazing and a little less whining and being in fetal positions," Obama said, according to excerpts of his remarks exclusively obtained by CNN. "And it's going to require Democrats to just toughen up."
Sounded like that was pretty painful for the CNN reporter to get through that. So Barack Obama lectures the Democrats, telling them to toughen up. Cue the meltdown from The View's Whoopi Goldberg.
Democrats laying back. This has been about y'all. This has been about y'all because their messaging was always the same. Democrats have been angry at what this man tried to do the last time. They've been angry this time. So with much due respect to you both, I believe you are pointing the finger at the wrong person when you say Democrats.
Are you delineating between voters and elected officials?
Yes, I am.
Whoopi taking his message a little personally.
I agree. Voters are very impassioned.
Voters, and when you say Democrats, he's talking to us saying our messaging is bad. And I'm saying, no, our messaging has not been bad because people have been out.
She's not happy, but this reminds me of when Obama lectured men, accusing them of being sexist for not wanting to vote for Kamala Harris.
Coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly now, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. That's not acceptable. This shouldn't even be a question.
For some reason, this just keeps backfiring for Barack Obama, but The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon has run with Obama's lecture, doing a skit on the quality list of Democrats that could potentially step up.
Let me show you another clip.
If you told me a few years ago that both my fiance and I would be working remote tech jobs, making more money than ever, and living like...
So Barack Obama is in the news for something other than his humiliating So Barack Obama is in the news for something other than... So Barack...
Now, I want you to check this out. Now, this guy here, Brandon Lehman, he's going to break down the entire situation because you see that Whoopi Goldberg is tone deaf. She says that their messaging is on point, when in all actuality, their messaging is turning off 90% of Americans. And they won't stand to reason because they think they can actually win the midterms and keep finessing the people by just being Trump deranged, not doing nothing for their communities, not advocating for their constituents, just fear-mongering and virtue signaling. Listen what he has to say.
So Barack Obama is in the news for something other than his humiliating public separation from his wife. I mean, Michelle Obama literally said on her podcast she's happy she didn't have any sons because she didn't want to bring any mini Barack Obamas into the world. And this comes after one of his daughters publicly said she was changing her last name because she doesn't want to be associated with her dad. So safe to say things aren't going very well in Obama world. But Obama was giving a speech at a Democrat fundraising event and shocked everybody when he called the Democrat Party out for being too weak. I mean, Obama's a radical, but I think even he is ashamed to see that his party has turned into nothing but crybabies and gender-confused misfits. We on the right know that what Obama is saying is perfectly true. The Democrats are so effeminate and sensitive and complainy. But more importantly, will the people on the left listen to their beloved oracle Barack Obama, or will they reject what he's saying because they're all allergic to accountability? As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel, but let's hear Obama calling his party out for being a bunch of weaklings.
Former President Barack Obama has a blunt message for his fellow Democrats. Quote, just toughen up. Stepping out for his first fundraising appearance since the Democrats' 2024 election loss, the former president had some tough love as his party continues to struggle to counter President Trump's agenda. He told donors this over the weekend, quote, I think it's going to require a little bit less navel-gazing and a little less whining and being in fetal positions, Obama said, according to excerpts of his remarks exclusively obtained by CNN. And it's going to require Democrats to just toughen.
Now, I know this criticism has to be especially difficult for Hakeem Jeffries, who I assume wakes up every morning and looks in the mirror and constantly tells himself over and over again that he is, in fact, the second coming of Barack Obama. But really? Democrats? Toughen up? I mean, the Democrat Party has spent the last decade ridding their party of anyone or anything that even resembles toughness. I mean, let a Democrat tell it, toughness is a toxic masculinity, white supremacist characteristic that's misogynistic and perpetuates violence against women and upholds the patriarchy. So if you're wondering why the Democrats can't muster up any toughness, it's because they declared war on toughness a long time ago and exiled anybody from their party that would be the savior that they need in this moment. But the bigger question that I have is, what does he mean by toughen up? Does he mean stop being so whiny and soft and sensitive and overly offended by everything? Immune from accountability and criticism because you're all such perfect beings who can do no wrong? Or does he mean toughen up in their stance against Donald Trump? Really dig their heels in and don't let the Republicans gain an inch? Or does he mean stop being so beholden to the woke radical left? Toughen up. Get back to moderation. Readopt common sense and come up with some compelling policies. Well, it can't be the first one because just like clockwork, a lady on that CNN panel explains how offended she is that Obama dare criticize the Democrats.
Dynamically.
I'll also say, if having read that speech that he gave, he was pretty scoldy. He is very scoldy these days. And he talked a lot about how people are not stepping up and doing their part and how people have been folding and not really standing up tall. And I just don't think that
goes down very well anymore. We saw that in the run-up to the election, where he was sort of telling black men that they needed, in solidarity, to vote for a black woman. And I think that that kind of scoldy Obama really doesn't play to the Democratic base anymore.
Okay, so we can cross off the list their willingness to not be sensitive, overly offended crybabies. Obviously, they can't give that one up because the social status that you gain from being a victim is the core foundation to all Democrat philosophy. Being a victim is glorified because it makes you the righteous one. It makes you the one deserving of sympathy. It makes you the one deserving of government prioritization. Their entire platform discourages people from...
And we've been saying that, a lot of us, and trying to tell the people that this victimhood that they try to push on the masses to constantly keep you scared or feeling oppressed versus having a real agenda or a real program is hurting them at this point. And at this point, they knew that black men wasn't listening to Obama anymore. Obama didn't do anything for our communities. But now, Obama is trying to at least tell them that old thing we used to do, them old tricks, they're not working on the people anymore. The people are not going to vote for you and support you just because you run and saying Trump is bad.
Ever making something out of their life, from ever succeeding. Why would any Democrat ever strive to not be a victim if that would automatically put them in the category of the victimizer? And that's the reason why the Democrat Party isn't resonating with the American people. No one's going to join a party where the core requirement is perpetual sadness. They just want to complain and point out how awful everything is. And if you, by God, take your life's destiny into your own hands and don't just rely on a steady stream of government handouts to get you by, well, now you're just part of the problem. You're an enemy of the party. Okay, so maybe it's toughen up in your fight against Donald Trump. Well, here's Walmart Obama, Hakeem Jeffries, learning that Democrat supporters want to see their leaders do more, going as far as to say, if their leaders aren't getting shot, then they're not doing enough.
Many of your Democratic colleagues are facing angry voters back in their districts. According to Axios, some are even being told they need to be more willing to go out there and get shot when fighting. That was a direct quote, get shot when fighting back against some of Trump's policies. One House Democrat saying, quote, and I'll read it to you, our own base is telling us that what...
Could you imagine? You don't radicalize your base so much by telling them that the conservatives were fascists and going to throw you in concentration camps and take your Section 8 and your benefits. You don't fearmonger them to the point to where they think that if you're not willing to get shot and stand up and fight, then you're weak if he's going to do all that. This is why their whole agenda backfired on them. You scared the people till the people want action.
We're doing is not good enough. There needs to be blood to grab the attention of the press and the public. How do you respond to that, Leader Jeffries? Are Democrats not meeting the moment, not doing enough to fight these developments?
Well, we are in a more is more environment in terms of the unprecedented assault on the American way of life and our country that has been launched by Donald Trump and compliant House Republicans. More speeches, more rallies, more protests, more sit-ins, more press conferences, more town hall meetings in Democratic districts and Republican districts. We're in a more is more environment, and we'll continue to lean in aggressively.
Okay, so it's clear as day, Hakeem is not willing to die for the cause. And I've said it for a year now since the Democrats really doubled down on the Trump is a threat to democracy, Trump is Hitler argument, that they are turning up the heat way hotter than they can handle. You can't tell your supporters that Trump is Hitler 2.0. He's coming to take everybody's rights away, and you're not willing to get shot to stop this fascist takeover. Of course your constituents are going to demand more. The Democrats are a bunch of theater kids pretending to be revolutionaries. And now it's their fault because of their rhetoric that their base is demanding extraordinary measures. The Democrats chose not to condemn their supporters for firebombing Tesla dealerships, for rioting across Los Angeles, for violently attacking law enforcement, going as far as shooting at law enforcement, assassination attempts on Donald Trump's life. And so they're looking around like, well, we're getting our hands dirty. What are you guys doing? And they're realizing Democrat leadership are just a bunch of theater kids who aren't about any action. They much prefer their arts and crafts time, making their funny little protest posters with their funny little sayings on there, having sing-along time at their pointless and ineffective No Kings protests. That's what the Democrats do, and now their radical revolutionary base is demanding blood from their politicians. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Okay, so it's not toughen up in their fight against Trump. Well, maybe is it toughening up and abandoning the childish gimmicks of the Democrat Party and returning to common sense and formulating some real policies? Well, Mark Cuban would agree with Obama. That's the way to go.
It's just Trump sucks. That's the underlying, thought of everything the Democrats do. Trump sucks. Trump says, the sky is blue. Trump sucks. You can't, that's not the way to win. It's just not, because it's not about Trump. It's about the people of the United States of America and what's good for them. And how do you get them to a place where they're in a better position and it's less stressful for them?
Yeah, people are tired of hearing.
Now think about this. You have all these liberal cities saying they refuse to even sit down with the federal government, which means how can you actually advocate for your constituents and get money into the cities that you're supposed to represent when you're refusing to even be cordial and sit down with the person at the helm of the federal government? It doesn't make sense. It's like they say, it's like they petulant children.
How bad Trump is. They're tired of everything Trump does being escalated to a 5-alarm fire by the Democrats. Everybody's opinion on Donald Trump has been formed years ago. It's getting harder to make the argument, vote for us. We're the party that's not Donald Trump, when the American people see that Donald Trump is just racking up win after win after win against the Democrats. Why would people want to willingly join the losing team? Now, it's easy to say that the Democrats aren't for anything, they're just against Trump. But that wouldn't be entirely true. They're actually for a lot. It's just what they're for is so unpopular with the American people, and they showed them that in November. Here is Greg Gutfeld with a mic drop explaining why the Democrats don't talk about what they
Be ready when the moment strikes. Rose Sparks gets you hard when you want. It's a fast-acting, long-lasting solution and
Cuban just dropped his whole common sense when it came to the Democratic Party. He should imagine the Democratic Party showing up in Shark Tank, hello sharks, I want 100% investment. And they have to describe it. Well, we hid a decrepit president who was brain dead, replaced him without a primary with a day drunk and a goofball. We think dudes can be moms. We think borders are stupid and criminals are misunderstood. We hate men unless they're in skirts. We love women until they have kids. We can divide a country by race, gender, and politics. And, if you're looking for riots or if you're looking for looting, we're the people. And then, right then, Cuban would say, I'm out. But that's exactly what the Democratic Party is.
The reason the Democrats are struggling to find a leader who can drag them out of this pit of despair is because it's impossible to have a candidate rise to superstardom in the Democrat Party while simultaneously ignoring the real concerns of real American people. Say what you want about Zohran Mamdani's policies. I mean, they're awful, they're destructive, they're anti-American, they're racist, but he's speaking to real concerns people have. And that's what's so scary about him, his message, and his supporters is just how many people live in our country that hate white people, that hate America, that want to see all of this burned to the ground. The problem is the Democrats aren't even doing that, because they're scared to take it even further left. Currently, they're on the 20 side of every single 80-20 issue. They want men and women's sports. They want a wide open border and illegals to get a free life funded by the taxpayer. They want to censor and suppress free speech. And they have shown no willingness to change their party policies. And because they're sticking with the same absurd, unpopular policies that lost them the election, the only angle they can take is Trump bad. We're against Trump. They want to paint Trump as so bad, so awful, that people will come back and vote for them and their failed policies because they'll have no other option. So I guess Obama wasn't talking about toughening up in that way either. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. What do you think Obama meant?
So I think, in my opinion, Obama was telling them the truth. He was telling them what people really see. People really see that on the left, they wanted the transgendering of our children. Tampons in the boys' bathroom. Termination of pregnancy until the 8th month. Wide open borders. They were anti-God, anti-family, and anti-country. And the only message that they could give to their constituents in their base is to hate Donald Trump and hate conservatives. They didn't even come out talking about doing anything in their own communities. Even when Jasmine Crockett was betrayed by the Democrats, she had to come out and say, well, I was let down, but now I'm going to go back to my base, to the people that voted me in, and address their needs. Only after she was betrayed by the Democratic Party. So, in this day, you see that the left has went so far left that they have even turned on Obama. They have made up their minds that they want to be socialists, communists, and a bunch of weirdos. And that's their strategy. And the only problem that they're having is there's not enough weirdos in the country for them to win an election in the United States for a long time. And this is Detroit's HPTV sounding of Detroit. Think about what you heard and ask yourself, if you're still a Democrat, why? Think about it. Why? What about their agenda you relate to? What policy of theirs do you relate to? Or is it just that you just can't stand conservatives? So, salute to all patriots. Keep your head on the swivel. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.